Okay, so the poem I chose to do was by Emily Dickinson, obviously, and it was called The Soul Selects Her Own Society. So, first I'm going to start off by reading that poem to you all. Here we go. Original poem. The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door on her divine majority. Obtrude no more. Unmoved, she notes the chariots pausing. At her low gate, unmoved, an emperor is kneeling upon her mat. I've known her from an ample nation. Choose one, then close the vows of her attention like stone. So, the first thing I noticed when I was reading this poem is she kind of says her a lot. She says her in every other stanza. Not every single stanza, but every other stanza. And she uses it in a possessive way. And when I noticed this, I kind of thought that her choice of diction by using her in a possessive manner ultimately showed Emily's self-centeredness. Um, Personally, I feel as though Emily is a very self-centered poet and an individual, but I think that this poem in particular shows how self-centered Emily is as far as selecting her own world and how she wants to be um, detached from society by saying the soul selects her own society. And she goes on to say, then shuts the door, which means she shuts the door from her divine majority, which means the masses of people. And honestly, in my own opinion, Emily's desire to be alone is necessary. She wants to live in her own world. And I feel as though she wants to live in her own world because she's tired of the divine majority. And I think it's interesting that she used the word divine. Now, though I think the divine majority refers to people, I think that the use of divine is interesting because she talks about the majority being above the norm. Divine is a very holy word, and I think that this also shows her desire to be detached from the church. Emperor, another in line. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In line 7, Emperor. That's open for interpretation. However, I feel as though this use of diction, she's referring to God, and I think that honestly, though she has shown her affiliation with religion, I think that in this poem in particular, she's showing that she doesn't want to be detached, or that she wants to be detached from God. um, I've known her from an ample nation. I think what she's saying in this line, I believe that this is line 9, and she's saying, line 9, I think she's saying that she knows how society is. She knows her from an ample nation. She's aware of society, and quite frankly, because of her knowings of society, I think she's tired of it. Um, Now let's go check out my poem. My own poem. Here we go. My poem states, the soul selects her own society, but is there true propriety? Though we shut the door to keep the world blocked, are we safe if we don't even keep the door locked? The majority may appear to be orderly, however, they go about life poorly. Unimpressed, I watch the daily routine of the earth. Creativity, free thought, and awareness has never seemed so dearth. The highest rule from above, and to them we are attached like two doves. I see the direction of our nation. A choice will be made, damnation or salvation. Submit your will to your deal, and your path will be set in stone. Now, my poem ultimately agrees with Emily Dickinson's poem. The question I present in the first 4 stanzas is that, are we truly free from society? Do we really live in a free world? In my next 4 to 8 stanzas, I answer that question by simply saying no, no, we aren't. My last 4 stanzas are meant to encourage my audience to be self-sufficient and run their own society. To me, personally, when you manage your own society, you have a better grip on reality. You don't abide by the system of enslavement that we have set up and established today. You create a sufficient life where your money works for you, not where you work for your money. Where you are content with having what you need, but you have a burning desire to obtain what you want. Or where you don't have a burning desire to obtain what you want. Sorry. Unfortunately, society stresses to us to want something every second of our lives and goes against the grain of practicing self-discipline. One way to reach self-discipline is to form your own society, which I wanted my poem to stress, and to use the knowledge that you possess of this artificial network called society that bridges everyone together. Now, my poem is basically a modern day rendition of Emily Dickinson's poem. I wanted it to be that way because I wanted to connect with basically our generation. Um, and here's the analysis of my own poem. Now, I use a lot of rhyming, and honestly, I just did that because I thought it sounded interesting. Um, sorry. The idea that being away from society I wanted to stress was okay. It's okay to have your own world. It's okay to be free. I also want to say, in a way, the majority of us are enslaved into society by material and everyday distractions. Um, and because of our infatuations with all things artificial, I believe that our generation of people are lacking a major sense of creation and um, authenticity. Um, here are the similarities and differences. Differences between my poem and Emily's is that Emily's has less rhymings. My poem has more stanzas by two. Emily's has 12 and mine has 14. Emily's poem uses a little. She concentrates a little more on diction and a little more figurative language. But I think my poem honestly is more informative, personally. Similarities between my poem and Emily's is that both of us had a great emphasis on choosing one society. Purposefully, I used similar words to keep the poems similar, and I think both Emily and I keep a consistent tone. Um, and the tone is somewhat negative, and I'm not really a negative person. However, my poem called for it. Conclusion. Personally, I felt that I needed to choose this poem, "The Soul Selects Her Own Society," because I thought I could use this poem as a means to connect with people and kids in my generation. I thought that her poem honestly was different than all the other poems I'd read by Emily Dickinson. I think it gave us a nice idea as to why she became reclusive. And Mr. Rich, I thank you for allowing me to do this project, and goodbye.